How's it going, everyone? Doc here with Eyes Wide Shot Gaming, and today we're going to put HellDivers 2 head-to-head against the juggernaut of gaming, Call of Duty. More specifically, Modern Warfare 3. Let's see how they stack up against each other. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date on all of your HellDivers 2 news, info, breakdowns, and much more, as well as many other games. We are so close in our endeavor to 1,000 subscribers, why not join us today? In today's video, we wanted to look at the statistics as well as the overall atmosphere between HellDivers 2 and the latest Call of Duty game, Modern Warfare 3. Before we do dive into it all, I want to make it clear, both games are fantastic at what they do, and both games have a special place in my heart. We are not taking any jabs, but merely using statistics to point out the flaws and strengths of each game. With that out of the way, let's begin. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is a 2023 first-person shooter video game developed by Sledgehammer Games and published by Activision. It is a sequel to 2022's Modern Warfare 2, serving as the third entry in the rebooted Modern Warfare sub-series and the 20th installment in the overall Call of Duty series. It was released on November 10th, 2023. And HellDivers 2 is a 2024 cooperative third-person shooter game developed by Arrowhead Game Studios and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. The game is a direct sequel to HellDivers 1, a 2015 top-down shooter. HellDivers 2 was released February 8th, 2024. So at this point, you might be wondering, how are we comparing a third-person co-op shooter against a first-person PvP shooter? Simple. We aren't so much looking at the gameplay of each game, but more so what they've done to progress in their niche genre. For Call of Duty as a whole, it started back in October of 2003 with the first Call of Duty game, a revolutionary title developed by Infinity Ward that started an entire movement and overall was the spark of a bright future for everyone, community and developers alike. But like most things with age, it shriveled into what we see today. It has become a game that not only charges vast amounts of money for the most ridiculous weapons, but also has a hefty price tag for different versions of itself. Year after year, we seem to be getting carbon copies of whatever COD game we had the previous year, with some minor changes to weapons, a handful of reskinned maps, and a story that seems to struggle to kill the main antagonist. If we sit down and compare the Steam charts numbers, our average player count for COD currently is roughly somewhere in the neighborhood of just shy of 100,000 players during a 24-hour peak. Meanwhile, HellDivers 2 has a 24-hour peak of about 102,000 players. These numbers are obviously counting PC only, and since Modern Warfare 3 is a cross-platform game covering both Xbox and PlayStation as well, we see that COD will beat out HellDivers as far as player count goes in total. But if we average those numbers using what we saw in the Steam charts, we see that applying this across the board shows HellDivers competing and actually going above the COD peak player count. So what's making HellDivers 2, a barely 3-month-old game, so potent in our community and able to hold its own against a gaming juggernaut like COD? Is it the low price? Is it the gameplay itself? Or perhaps it's the PvE aspect because people are just tired of going head-to-head against others who might be using third-party services to gain an advantage. In our humble opinion, it's none of those. HellDivers 2 has managed to unite PlayStation and PC players together under an umbrella of pride. The game has given us enemies to make us close our eyes on what console we are playing on and give us a sense of pride to be fighting interplanetary scourges for the greater good. We have a sense of honor, not to our town, city, state, or country, but to the entire planet of Super Earth. But with all these positives, we can't overlook the bountiful amount of issues HellDivers has itself. Like I said, we are not taking jabs at either games by saying the prices of certain things are wild or that the frame rate drop in other things are ridiculous. Both titles are amazing at what they do. As I've said in many previous videos regarding HellDivers, the game is still in its infancy, and yet every few weeks we get a new patch, a new upgrade, a new warbond, or something else that shakes things up and gives us yet another reason to sit down and spread some managed democracy amongst the planets. The only issue with that is, the developers over at Arrowhead are overlooking many problems that players in the community are encountering. From game crashes, broken weapons that kill you and your teammates, all the way to the latest issue where our frame rate drops drastically once we enter a mission. All of this may be addressed in their official Discord, but seems to be swept under the rug to make way for more updates and warbonds. Issues that prevent or hinder the community's ability to play can potentially kill a title over time. We see examples of this in something like Anthem, where BioWare pumped and dumped what was supposed to be a masterpiece, but ultimately became a nightmare to play. And yes, even though the CEO of Arrowhead Game Studios initially said not to purchase a game until they fix it, but with us rearing in on 3 months, we can't help but wonder when these issues will be fixed as a whole. This is absolutely something Call of Duty has covered extensively with every title, leaving us to not have to worry about minor issues and more open to questioning their skill-based matchmaking or their inability to control players who use third-party services to gain a massive advantage. Each title has its flaws, some more massive than others, but if we define the word love, we realize it's seeing these flaws and imperfections and perfectly loving them. To the players who genuinely enjoy Call of Duty, who really love the skill-based matchmaking and really don't mind spending hundreds of dollars on weapons every season, then great, continue down that path and play to your heart's content. As well as to the players who prefer being more frugal and focusing on relatively repetitive gameplay, mission after mission, to liberate a planet from either automatons or terminids, then again, I say God bless. There is room for both games. I myself personally feel more inclined to play HellDivers 2, not just because I prefer the game style, mind you, the game style which was offered to Activision years ago and they called it trash, but it's due to the fact that we can call me a seasoned Call of Duty veteran who retired from close to 2 decades of Call of Duty, and quite frankly, can't keep up with today's Call of Duty youth and their reaction time. For the new generation, Activision and the like will continue year after year to pump out a new Call of Duty. For us older generations, we have spent decades killing each other, zombies, and AI, to which we choose to move on to other new and exciting games like HellDivers. At this point in time, we almost can see Call of Duty to be a rite of passage in the gaming environment. Tough to compare to the lobbies from back in the day, but still, a virtual playground to breed and shape future gamers into something amazing. Yes, HellDivers is still a high-octane shooter with gore and screaming and the sort, but at the end of the day, I can sit down, throw my headset on, and just jam away against some bugs or robots deep into the night without needing to worry about any cheating or problems of that sort. I hope to see both games continue to prosper well into the future. And as always, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and until next time, so long.